So I've been wanting to make this video for a while. TikTok is promoting a lot of things about like fitness, and in a way, I believe it's ruining a lot of fitness advice and the credibility of social media for helping you with fitness advice. A lot of the stuff that I see is wrong, but then there's also some really great creators out there that give good advice. But if you don't know how to implement that advice for yourself, that's when it becomes an issue. So I believe a lot of creators make great stuff and I love watching some of them, but if you don't know who they're talking to, sometimes they're talking to advanced lifters because they're an advanced lifter, and it doesn't mean that that movement or doing that step in your workouts is actually gonna be right for you. So we're gonna take a look at some TikTok videos and I'm gonna explain whether they're true or false or both depending on who you are. So the first one.
I put on my jewelry just to go to the bodega, and I keep it with me just so that
Dry scooping hits different. It hits different because you didn't absorb everything. Yes, the stimulants in there will probably hit your system faster, but dry scooping by now I thought would be like a done thing. Like I've made that mistake and dry scooped for a while. I also think she says it hits different, yes, but I also think it's just a thing of being like tough guy, dry scooping your pre-workout. We're all tough enough too. Yeah, there's been people that mess up and like blow powder everywhere. We all can dry scoop. It's not that hard. You're not a tough guy because you can dry scoop your pre-workout. You're not absorbing half the that you're paying for in your supplements. So make sure you're actually mixing it with water and taking it when you're supposed to, and you can absorb all your pre-workout and get more from your supplements that you're paying for.
This is the best possible warm-up you can do, and this might blow some people's minds, but you don't have to spend 20-30 minutes doing a bunch of activation exercises or warm-ups leading into your workout. I used to be that guy. Now, instead, I just do warm-ups with the exercise that I'm starting with, because if you're picking good movements, then that should be plenty for warming you up and getting you ready for that exercise. If I'm warming up for a heavy back day, I'm going to do my warm-ups with my first heavy rowing or pull-down movement. I'm not going to go and do 100 pull-ups. If I'm trying to warm up my glutes for glute bridges, then I'm just going to do glute bridges. I don't have to go and do a bunch of booty band exercises just to turn on and activate my glutes. They're already active. If you're picking good movements, that's going to be plenty for priming you for your working sets.
All right, JPG offers amazing advice. I watch his videos all the time. He is another one where what he's saying is not wrong. In an ideal world, this is what you would be doing, like exactly to the T of what he said. In my experience with myself and coaching beginners in the gym, it's not super beginner friendly, depending on the movements you're doing. So let me explain that. If you are just learning how to squat or deadlift, and you don't use your glutes coming out of the squat or deadlift, and you know you should, you're just having trouble doing it, you might have to do some light glute bridges to activate your glutes, so that way when you're locking out at the top, you're using your glutes. So if you are struggling with implementing a muscle group in a compound movement, you might have to do that. Eventually, ideally, you will get better at the movement and you won't need that anymore, and you can just start lighter. Or you can choose the order of your workout to be better. Maybe you do glute bridges before you squat and you go heavy on those and then you squat heavy afterwards. I have a lot of clients that do that. I personally do that. I do that for deadlifts too. So in an ideal world, yes, you don't have to do like 1,000 activation movements, and I do agree with him, like don't do a bunch of like booty band stuff to activate your glutes and do 100 reps of that and then try to go do glute bridges. Like just do glute bridges. But if you struggle in compound movements where you're using multiple muscle groups to move a weight and you can't activate one of them very well, starting out with doing some activation movements and not like bands and all that stuff, but actually doing a movement to help activate that muscle group, it can help you in the beginning, but you shouldn't need that forever. You should get better to where you can do exactly what he just said. If you're a beginner to compound movements, definitely focus on what you need to be activating better than what you are doing right now, and maybe throw in some activation stuff. Plan your workouts better. And that way you can get more from your compound movements and get better at it, and then you can start warming up the way JPG says.
Ultimate
Oh no.
pre-workout.
The carbonated pre-workout. All right.
Ultimate pre-workout.
So, high stim pre-workouts. One that's like more high stim than anybody needs, but there are purposes to high stim pre-workouts, which are if you're a powerlifter and you're going for only strength, even if you don't compete in powerlifting, you're going for only strength. You don't care about blood flow, those things. You want something to wake up central nervous system, have energy, stuff like that. You can do a high stim. Nobody needs that high stim though. That's ridiculous. And it's a carbonated one. I always joke that if your pre-workout's carbonated, it's not a pre-workout. There's way better things out there that you can do for high stim, and it's not gonna like kill your heart the way something like that would, and it's not gonna leave you jittery. But most people I see that come in do not need a high stim pre-workout. They want to change the shape of their body. They want to increase strength as increasing size. Blood flow matters, and stimulants destroy your blood flow. So stop just loading up on stimulants and actually do something that promotes blood flow and muscle contraction, and you'll feel a huge difference. So we kind of broke down a few different videos. There's definitely a lot more to do, but I hope that this just opens your eyes on there is really great creators out there, but it doesn't always mean that their great advice applies directly to you, and that there's different steps for beginner, intermediate, advanced lifters, also depending on your goal, things like that. You can listen to great advice from creators that you trust that put out great content, and it still doesn't all apply to you, and there's no right or wrong exact way to do things. Everybody is different. Your program should look different from everybody's. Your nutrition should look different from everybody's, and just blindly following advice from people that you trust all the time could actually be hurting your results. So make sure that you're listening to good advice from, we had a couple of great creators that I personally like watching, but doesn't always mean that their advice is the only law and the only thing you can follow. You want to make sure that it's going to fit you. And then there's also some out there that's just like terrible advice, and you don't want to listen to it at all, and it might look fun on TikTok and it's cool, and I think it's cool that people create videos and have fun with it and entertain us all, but it doesn't mean that it's something that you should be doing.